12:60 time here.
Yep.
And then, since I have you in person, Jordan, these are these slips from your days that will be signed. Alright, so it's a little bit easier for you. Here's a copy of the dates that are in question. Let me get there. 4/5/24. Alright, so this is an investigative interview that may result in disciplinary action, up to including removal. This is an official fact-finding investigation, which requires employees to cooperate in any investigation. Your union rep is here to ensure your rights are not violated, but they're not here to answer for you. This is your opportunity to tell your side of the story. Should you choose not to answer the questions, the Postal Service will have no option but to determine appropriate action based on evidence and record alone. Do you understand?
Yes.
And this investigative interview is to discuss the attendance. Alright, Jordan, are you aware of the requirement for attendance that state's employees are required to be regular in attendance?
Yes.
Are you aware of the requirement for attendance that state's employees are required to report to work at a scheduled time?
Yes.
Has the subject of your attendance been brought to your attention before?
Yes.
Do you know by who?
Cody, and I think you sent me a letter.
Do you remember the result of your last discussion about your attendance?
The last discussion was a 7-day suspension. I got a 14-day suspension last month, but that wasn't discussed.
And I had a question in here, Nick. Jordan, do you know why the 14-day was not discussed?
Can I grab a blank sheet?
Yes, I know why it wasn't discussed. like me to explain why?
Nick, let me know when you're good.
I'm good.
Alright, yes, please.
So my last day of work was on February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. Do you know, if anything, what happened that evening on my last day?
And I'm writing, so it might take me a second to respond,
That's
just
fine.
because these questions aren't written down, so
That's totally
I
fine.
hear you, I'm just writing.
That's totally fine.
Alright, you can explain your side of why this happened, what happened.
Yeah, well, do you know anything about the events of the evening of February 13th, so I can fill it in?
Your side, no, because there's been no communication.
Any sides at all? Did Ben tell you anything about that night? 'Cause I can fill in.
So this interview is for your side of the story, so that's what we'll go with, so you can just start wherever you would like.
So on February 13th, 2024, shortly after 7 p.m., I was the victim of a violent attack by my supervisor, Ben Chauncey. I was falsely imprisoned.
Okay, so we're writing, so just,
It'll take a moment.
I'll just repeat that first sentence. On February 13th, 2024, shortly after 7 p.m., I was a victim of a violent attack by Supervisor Ben Chauncey.
and are you reading this off something?
Yes.
I'm ready whenever you are, Nick.
I'm good.
I was falsely imprisoned by Supervisor Chauncey when he intentionally and recklessly locked me inside the barbed wire fence where our postal vehicles are parked.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to, do you know why this was not discussed? Your previous 14-day.
Yeah, so this is relevant to that. So I'll explain this and then I'll explain further, which will satisfy that question. When you guys are ready, I'll continue.
Go ahead.
My attacker, Supervisor Chauncey, hid in the employee parking lot, lying in wait by employee Anita Mackin's vehicle, watching my every move, as I had to climb the barbed wire fence to escape. And as my girlfriend, Naya Belcour, arrived to pick me up.
So you said your attacker waited for you by Max's vehicle?
Yes, he was lying in wait, hiding.
Lying in wait.
Watching my every move.
Okay.
My girlfriend watched in horror as I climbed over the barbed wire fence. My attacker, Supervisor Chauncey, then emerged from his hiding spot as I finally made it over the barbed wire fence. I was terrified and immediately left with my girlfriend after he said he thought I had already left, even though he had been standing there waiting for me upon my return. And even though I never crossed his path to leave the gated area. I had gathered my mail and my equipment and proceeded to leave and found that both gates were locked. So it would have been impossible for him to think I had left already if he did not see me pass him, since I would have to pass him to exit the gate. As I was leaving, he then opened up the gate, retrieved the mail trays, and watched as we pulled away. And then he returned inside and pretended that I had already left, so as to give Anita Mackins, the clerk, the
You pretended you already left?
He asked her if she had seen me, but he knew she hadn't seen me because he saw me leave, and she was waiting for me to return so she could close up shop and leave. And since she wasn't going to see me because I had left, he pretended that I had left already so she could go ahead and leave.
Do you have a cell phone?
I have a cell phone. My cell phone had died by the time I had returned to the station. So I was locked in there with no cell phone service. So I was in an LLV that day, and the lighter plug-in for my charger, it doesn't work in there.
You have a scanner?
I have a scanner.
Did you have a scanner that day?
Yeah, I left it in the mail trays that Ben brought in. Let me know when you guys are ready and I'll continue.
Some paper, please. Alright. Go ahead.
So the reason it wasn't discussed, your initial question, was because I'm traumatized by what happened. I have flashbacks and I relive the event, which makes my heart race. It makes me sweat. I have reoccurring memories, dreams, and nightmares of the event. I have distressing thoughts. I'm physically stressed. I stay away from places that are reminders of the event, such as work. When I see postal vehicles, it gives me severe anxiety. I try to avoid these thoughts and feelings related to the event. I'm easily startled. I feel tense, on guard, on edge. I have difficulty concentrating. I have difficulty falling and staying asleep and eating. I feel irritable. I have negative thoughts about myself. I have ongoing negative emotions, including fear and shame. I've lost interest in previous activities that would bring me joy. I feel socially isolated. I have difficulty feeling positive emotions like happiness and satisfaction. And my attacker is still working at the place where I needed to come and discuss my absences. And that's why my absences didn't have a discussion.
So why did you not call me when I listed on the invite letter that we can do this over the phone instead of you physically coming in.
Due to the things I just said, I didn't check my mailbox for several weeks.
But you signed for a certified.
No, I didn't sign for any of those.
Somebody signed for it.
I know it. I didn't sign for any of the certified.
So-
I didn't sign for any certifieds.
Somebody signed for the certified.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
I went to that station before and told them about signing for certified for me. I did not sign any certified letter.
I have multiple receipts.
Let me see how it's signed. Because I did not sign them.
Okay, so you didn't sign for any of these?
No, I did
Somebody
not.
did and they were delivered, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if I pull up the GPS, it shows at the front door, not the mailroom, in a different spot than your other letter was delivered,
What do you mean?
stating that these were delivered to the front door to a person.
They were inside my mailbox.
Okay.
And by the time I got them, it was late March.
Alright, let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, Jordan. Have you been issued any disciplinary actions for your attendance before?
Yes, I stated that.
And do you know all the discipline?
What do you mean?
That's been issued for your attendance?
I've got the 7-day suspension when I had lingering pneumonia, the 14-day suspension, which I just got last month, and then this is another discipline.
Okay, so you have a letter of warning for attendance, a 7-day for attendance, and a 14-day. This here is simply an investigative interview that may result in disciplinary action.
Gotcha.
All right, so the next question I have, and so this is going to be repetitive, do you remember why you were acting on the days, the following dates?
Would you like me to repeat?
Well, I am going to continue with my side, and then you can go ahead and,
Okay.
here's a calendar. All right, so I have 3/26, there's a full day of LWOP.
326. As far as LWOP, for some reason, somebody is putting me down for a whole week of LWOP before the day even arrives. And I've called in every day to use sick leave or annual leave. But the reason I wasn't at work was because on February 13th, I was violently attacked by Supervisor Ben Chauncey.
So I'm going to explain, you are put in for LWOP because you, after 3 days, I can put you in for LWOP because at that point you have not provided me any medical documentation. And in order for you to be able to use any annual leave, you would need to have an active FMLA case file. Which if you have FMLA at that point, then you can have a choice leave of sick leave, annual leave, or LWOP. So without the documentation, or any communication at all, that is why you have been put in for LWOP.
You told me that. How come it was put in advance on the days that hadn't even come yet? For example,
I don't see any that was put in for advance.
I've got screenshots. For example, I would call in on Monday and I would put in annual leave, but you, without the FMLA, you're going to put LWOP for that day. How come the entire week was put in for LWOP even though those days hadn't even come yet?
It's possible the way you were calling in, because you call in under IOD, injured on duty, but there was never an accident on file. That doesn't go to me, that goes to OWCP. So it could be something that they have been doing on their end.
So OWCP, I was getting LWOP for several weeks, and then all of a sudden, it was put in annual leave for 2 weeks ahead of me calling in that day. How come I got annual leave if I couldn't use FMLA?
I'm not sure who would have put that leave in. All I know is when I put your leave in, it is for LWOP.
And whoever put me in for the annual leave.
And it's possible it was somebody with OWCP. Because what you
And that
do is you
found
call
out.
in IOD,
Mm-hmm.
it goes to them. They deny it because there's no CA1 on file. Now, the CA1, it's past 30 days. So you can't put one in. There was never an accident reported.
Well, they put me in for annual leave for 2 weeks.
I can go look and see who did it, but as of right now,
I'm
I
just
put in for
confused why my annual leave wouldn't have been put in at first, but then weeks later.
Because you had no documentation.
But weeks later, it would automatically be put in there.
That's something that she can check into later, and then she will send you that information.
Sounds good.
Alright, so then I have you being AWOL, absent without leave on 3/27 and 3/28.
I've called in every single day. I take that back. I think there was one day I didn't call in, and that was one of the days that had already been put in future for annual leave. Might have been a Friday, and I didn't get around to calling in that day until later in the day, and I didn't know if that would mess up the annual leave that was already on the virtual time card. Other than that, I have called in every single day online. So if there's AWOL, I don't know what AWOL means in that situation.
Absent without leave, it means...
I know what the words mean, but I don't know why that would be AWOL instead of LWOP when I called in.
Again, that's something that she can look
That's
into.
fine.
And, yeah.
Alright, 4/1, I have a full day at LWOP. You remember why you were absent that day?
Because I'm experiencing symptoms related to mental trauma from the night of February 13th when I was violently attacked and falsely imprisoned by my supervisor, Ben Chauncey, and made to climb over barbed wire fence while he hid and watched me do it. And I'm scared to come back to work because I don't know what he'll do to me.
Alright, full day at LWOP, April 2nd.
Same reason, right?
Same reason. I'll read it or I say same reason.
Alright, April 3rd,
Same reason.
and April 4th.
Same reason. I didn't call in yet today, but I'm going to because I didn't know if I had to clock in or not.
Alright, On the dates that I just listed, were you able to perform your job duties?
No, I was not.
Do you have anything else you'd like to tell me?
If this is the first time you're hearing of this violent attack, I would like you to file a report and to submit it to the higher-ups and have it on file as being violently attacked and falsely imprisoned by Supervisor Ben Chauncey, so that they are made aware of the situation.
Yeah, honestly, I've heard so many different stories from carriers that you've contacted, from carriers at other stations, from my supervisor. The only person I haven't heard anything was from you because there's no communication. Is there anything else I can help you do to improve your attendance?
You can report this crime to the higher-ups and investigate it properly, so that I may return to work when my attacker is not in the same vicinity as I am. And so you've heard about me having to climb over the barbed wire fence, Ashley?
I've heard so many other different stories from other people. I haven't heard your side
Sure.
of the story.
Sure, but
So I've heard stories of you falling asleep in the parking lot. I've heard stories of you climbing over barbed wire, apparently. I've heard stories of you climbing.
There have been multiple different
stories.
stories that she heard from non-first party sources that
Correct.
she has not been able to act on. She needed to hear it from you.
Sure.
You told her, so
That's
now she's
understanding.
going to be able to do whatever she
Sure.
is capable.
But you have,
Things get so twirled
sure,
and twisted.
Yep.
when you know what gets really twirled and twisted is your mind when you're climbing over barbed wire fence.
And you do know that you had the sources to contact somebody, right? You do have a scanner that you could have sent a alert on. You,
I feared for my life, Ashley.
okay, and that's your feeling.
But you did hear that I had climbed over the barbed wire fence?
She heard it from multiple different sources, but she did not hear it from you. So
But
now
she
she
did.
has, now
Sure.
she has
I'm
heard.
just trying to clarify, but she did hear that I climbed over a barbed wire fence?
It sounds like she has, and but she was not able to verify that. She was not able to prove that. This is the first she is hearing of that from you.
Sure. But you heard I climbed over a barbed wire fence?
Yes,
and,
she did.
And you didn't ask me about it?
How am I supposed to ask you when I can't get in contact with you?
I talked to you the next week, Ashley.
And you didn't say anything to me about it.
I did. I told you I was
So then why would you sit and ask me these questions?
I told you I was severely injured and traumatized by something that happened last week.
And based on our last I&I and the things that you told me in there with your personal stuff going on, that could have been anything. You didn't
What are you
tell me
talking
any
about?
circumstances that had happened.
I told you that I was severely injured and mentally traumatized, and you knew I was calling in OID or injured on the job.
And there was no accident report filed, and based on our last I&I.
Hold on, can I finish this? And you never asked me, when I told you that I was severely injured, you never asked me what happened. Why not?
How am I supposed to give you a mind read?
No, I told you I was severely injured the last
You
day
know how
at
many
work.
times I attempted to call you, Jordan?
But how come when I did talk to you, you never asked me what happened?
Jordan, you had,
You had a chance to ask me what happened, you didn't ask me what happened.
she did not ask you what happened at that time, and that is something that I will make a note of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you aware there are options for you such as FMLA and EAP?
I have been seeing EAP.
All right, and you are aware of FMLA, correct?
Yes, I'm aware of its existence.
you to sign these lease slips, or you can refuse to sign them either way. There's a stack of them here. So I'll leave that up to you. Are you gonna refuse to sign them, or do you wanna sign them?
What is the difference?
You have the option to sign them. I would recommend signing them.
Should I sign them?
Yes.
I'll sign them. I'm not gonna sign the one that says AWOL.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and provide this to you already. So it'll just be one thing. And this as well.
Are these just copies underneath this deck?
Nope, you'll need to sign those as well. Those are from last month. Kind of divvied them up differently.
And will I get copies of these?
Typically you don't, but if you would like them, sure.
I'll take copies of these.
I'll get them in the mail to you.
That's cool.
I will work on getting you copies of this. I gotta put it in a bigger
That's fine.
I'm running out of ink back here.
That's cool.
I'll let you guys talk and then,
Can we talk outside?
Yeah.
alright.
Thank you.